Hi everybody. I'm reposting this video review for quiz 3 this Friday. I am sorry, I have no idea why the one that was up on YouTube was 37 seconds of me silently pondering life. Nonetheless, thank you, Chloe, for pointing it out. So let's do this. First of all, you need to know the difference between potentiality and actuality. Remember, potency, act, potentiality, actuality, doesn't matter. And little insight here right off the bat. If I talk about potentiality, I'm having multiple futures. No, it only has one possibility. Okay, so the potentiality of an embryo is not a giraffe. Remember that. Also, remember about the relationship I discussed between a human being and a person, if there ever can be a human being that is not a person. You should just be able to recognize the differences between the major competing ethical systems, proportionalism, deontology, consequentialism, and such. And you should probably, at least with Immanuel Kant, know who he links up to. Um, Let's see. Also, in terms of what things can change, this came from last Wednesday's lecture while I was at Kairos. So, temporal things can change, eternal ones cannot. Make sure you realize that. And I gave a criticism of situational ethics. Make sure you know that one. Let's see. Now, we talked about how in morality things start with being. Being is asking what a thing's existence, I'm sorry, what a thing's essence is. Make sure you get that right, essence. Um, you should know, like, what the perfection of a toddler would be, what the perfection of embryo should be, and so on. Now, going back to the moral font, the object, the circumstance, and the intention. Object, intention, circumstance. If I were to give you, and have given you, let me see, I did an example of a student doing a favor for the teacher. If we were to say what part or which one of those three fonts is the student doing the favor, you should be able to identify that. If I ask you which of the three fonts does the student, the fact that it's a student, fall into, you should know that. And remember, all human acts, this is something you will need to know. They must be rational, free, and deliberate. Okay? Otherwise, they're not moral acts that we can evaluate. You should also know, at least be able to recognize a couple of the examples I gave of an intrinsic evil, evils that are evil always and everywhere. You should also, say in a multiple response, be able to put in a few words that complete the definition of the principle of non-contradiction. And concerning temporal and eternal things, which one of those should you have an open mind about? Be able to plug the words in for that. I also last Wednesday in that lecture talked about what's referred to as the epistemological ladder, how you get to know things. So you start out with beauty, you move on to truth, and you move on to goodness. Make sure you know which one's the splendor of a thing, which one leads to knowledge and such, and make sure you know them in order. Beauty, truth, and goodness. That's going up. Last but not least, I already said you should know about Immanuel Kant. You should also know who John Stuart Mill, which ethical system he is focused on. You should know how to recognize a description of each of the three moral fonts. In other words, what are the elements that surround the moral act? Let's see, what is the goal of the person? And what is the why of a person? Or the what. You should know what the what is, what the why is, all those. There's an ethical system too where I said the problem with it is that it doesn't resolve conflicting duties very well. Make sure you know that one. Which ethical system follows general guidelines rather than rigid principles? Which ethical system weighs all the possibilities of a particular choice? And which ethical system is primarily focused on the what? So for that, you can almost remember me quoting Veritatis Splendor when I said it. The primary object of the act is what we are doing rationally and rationally choosing. Okay? So I'm sorry this is a quick one, but that covers all the questions. I apologize for this being up late. I thought I was on top of it and everything was up. We have a 2-hour delay tomorrow, so I'll see you guys then. God bless. Good night.